In the humid jungles of South Vietnam during the mid-1960s, American soldiers marched cautiously through thick vegetation, alert for ambushes, mines, and sniper fire, but nothing could have prepared them for the terror that lay beneath their boots. The Vietnam War introduced the U.S. Army to a completely new dimension of warfare, one that existed underground, in the dark, damp labyrinths built by the Viet Cong. When the first tunnel openings were discovered, tiny holes in the earth, camouflaged with leaves or disguised as animal burrows, soldiers assumed they were crude shelters. But soon, reconnaissance teams and patrols realized these were entrances to sprawling subterranean networks, complete with sleeping quarters, command centers, storage depots, hospitals, and even kitchens equipped with smokeless chimneys. It was a revelation that shocked even the most battle-hardened troops. American soldiers had been trained for open-field battles, for mechanized warfare, for jungles thick with enemies, but not for invisible ones who vanished beneath the soil. The discovery was disorienting, almost surreal. The enemy could appear from nowhere, attack with sudden bursts of gunfire, and disappear again without a trace. Entire platoons could march through an area, secure it, and move on, only to be ambushed from below hours later. These underground fortresses allowed the Viet Cong to move supplies, weapons, and troops across the countryside right under the Americans' feet. They could evade bombings, outflank patrols, and survive artillery strikes that devastated surface positions. For the U.S. infantrymen encountering these tunnels for the first time, fear mixed with disbelief. Some described hearing faint echoes of voices or distant movement under the ground, realizing too late that the jungle floor itself concealed an army. The psychological toll was immense. Every patch of earth, every mound, every root cluster could hide a trapdoor. The soldiers began to live with a gnawing sense of paranoia. Even victory in battle felt incomplete because the enemy could always re-emerge. When the Americans finally dared to peer inside, they were greeted by narrow shafts barely wide enough for a single man, pitch-black corridors twisting deep into the ground, and suffocating air thick with humidity and rot. Ventilation holes were disguised as termite mounds, trapdoors covered with bamboo mats, and false floors hid deadly punji stakes below. The Viet Cong had turned the natural environment into a weapon, transforming the soil into a living fortress. For American troops, this was warfare in its most nightmarish form, fighting an enemy that vanished into darkness, that defied the traditional logic of combat. Some units tried to flood the tunnels, others threw grenades or poured fuel and set it alight, but the networks were too deep, too intricate, too well designed. Every attempt to destroy them only revealed how vast and sophisticated they were. Military engineers soon realized that this was no small operation. Some tunnel systems stretched for miles, connecting villages, outposts, and even entire districts. Beneath South Vietnam lay an underground world that mirrored the surface war, and it had been built with astonishing discipline and endurance. The discovery marked a turning point in American understanding of the conflict. This was not just a guerrilla war, it was a test of psychological endurance, ingenuity, and adaptation. Letters home from soldiers described the eerie feeling of walking over hollow ground, of knowing that the enemy might be watching from below, waiting for the right moment to strike. The first encounters with the tunnel systems left an indelible mark on the minds of U.S. troops and forever altered the course of the war, forcing the American military to confront not just an enemy of flesh and blood, but an invisible threat buried in the heart of the earth.